Hi, welcome back channel FIFA Mobile. Alright, going to share with you how to grow from 121 million to 156 million, and of course the skill games included. Alright, so I hope you have a good player from this Water Festival pack itself. For me, I get Ronaldo, and of course I sold him for 10 over millions. That also helps in terms of growing my coins from 1 to 1 million upwards. Alright, so currently I'm standing at 121, but of course with that additional player, additional about 10 over million after tax. I'll come to that later on. Hopefully, you get some good players out of this. And do remember, I mean, every day, go and collect all the free packs, and sometimes you could get some players that can sell for a good amount. And of course, I'm going to share with you looking through the market, and of course, sharing looking in your players, especially those you can sell. So here we have there's about 14 million. So let's go for it, and you can see that actually there's indication of rate for those players that in good demand, and then blue for those players that are selling but no one really better to buy. So when you take a look at this 999 plus, you'll be really worried that you can't sell, but sometimes you still check in because there will be buyers that are actually willing to buy a lower price, then you just go for that. All right, so if it's a pure blue, then there's a good chance that you can't sell. But sometimes, I mean, if you know that player is a bit rare, you can actually take a look at the market by clicking on either the sell or purchase button, and then just make sure you confirm you're selling and not buying. That's important because I did make a mistake because clicking on the purchase button allows you to check the price, but you're just excited, you just go ahead and click go ahead, then you'll be buying the player instead of selling. So you can see sometimes it's blank. You can actually queue to sell at the highest price. Then of course all the other players that you have, even the lower OVR ones that can we sell about 10,000, 20,000, just go ahead because we'll be just trying to grow more coins. All right, so now we have grown from 121 to 135 with the soul of a few players. You're checking out my watch list. So this is the watch list I set up in order to monitor the prices of the players. You can see sometimes those players are relatively cheap, but again, this purpose also serves in terms of watching out whether there's opportunity to do exchange in order to gain advantage of it. So always it's good to have a watch list. You watch over the players, monitor the trend, and eventually you can see whether there's opportunity to make a profit out of it. All right, so I look at my players and I notice actually these two players can sell. So I'm really happy in through the exchange I managed to get a 108 and of course the 105, and both players are sold. Now I am able to get 153. So that's how I mean by making money out of the exchanges and watching the markets, make sure the market movement in your favor. This 105 Ronaldo is another opportunity. If let's say it dips to about 8 over a million or 9 million, there's a good opportunity to buy and sell later on. If the price goes up to 11 million and you buy at maybe 9 million, you'll be making a small profit there. I'm looking at a 109 players. If you're looking at a 109 players, if you got 6 numbers of those and you exchange for the 110, would you make a profit? Based on the assessment right now, it doesn't work that way. It means you can't make a profit out of it, okay? So again, the other way to look at it is that is there any way we can actually make a profit out of the 108 players? So yes, now I sold these players for a good amount of profit because I managed to do that by looking for the number of players that required for the 108. They are requiring the 106 OVR players. So if you see the 106 OVR players selling about 2 million each, so if you need 8 numbers, are you making a profit out of it? To me, it's no, because it's 106 is 8 numbers, 2 million each. That would be already 60 million, and if you're selling it for 14 million for that player, and then after tax you're getting about 12 plus, you're making a loss about 3 over million. So it's not a good choice in that context to use the exchange if you're buying straight from the market. Okay, but if you have some players already and missed by one player, for example, you have let's say 7 and you need one more, then of course I think that's one way to go about it. You go for a 106 to a million, and then in exchange you get a 108. Let's say you sell for 14 million, and then you're actually making about 10 million or so. So this is a way to make coins. All right, so at this stage itself, just keep on hunting because it's a daily affair that you always got to check the market to see where the opportunity for relatively cheap player. Another way to make some coins is basically from playing those daily skill games and matches from the League Tour. There are no refresh in terms of the players. They're giving up the high OVR, but nonetheless, I'm going to spend some of my rewards into the reward packs of the 80 plus, and really surprised. Sometimes the players they give you a relatively good price. Very happy with this especially. Alright, so those are the two better players that I got from this League Tour. Other than that, it's just normal packs, but nonetheless, I'm going to try it for the 70 plus as well. So again, like I said, once you get those really head lucky moments and you manage to get, let's say, a good player like Salah, you're able to sell him for $500,000. So I think that's something contented with. I'm not going to sell it at the lowest price, but rather queue at 577. He will be sold for sure because there's no supply and there will be demand for him. So again, when you check out the prices, make sure you know what you are doing, because for me, I just want to sell at the highest possible price. So that's one way to do it. When you click on the player, you click on the price of 104 and then you sell at 104, queuing to sell. Do not sell at the rock bottom prices people are buying, especially there's a huge number of people in demand buying for the player and there's no supply. You should go for the highest price possible. And of course, the other way around, if let's say there's a lot of people selling and no one is buying, then you only got one, then probably you want to sell at that lower price to just get rid of the player, which you don't really require anyways. Not so much for the heroes journey players, which I'm not going to sell because eventually I'll need them for a phase 6. Phase 6 may be coming in a couple of weeks or months and no one knows, but when that comes about, you may need to waste coins to buy the heroes players again, so why not save them up to currently and then eventually during the heroes exchange you can use them. That's also a reason why I'm just keeping up those heroes. Whenever you spot a player that can be sold, for example, this player, I just swap in a player that can't be sold for now and then quickly push him out to the market. So then in that case, every day you are making coins by hunting for players that actually can be sold from your players, and of course at the same time see whether there's opportunity to be made in terms of from the exchanges. Like I said again, from the exchanges, it's not solely buying every single required players, like 8 number of players in exchange for another higher tiered players. No, that doesn't work. If you already have a good amount of the players, you just need 1 or 2 and then you do a calculation, actually it makes a couple of millions, then you go ahead with that. Okay, so because the price would basically be plunging as we go along with the event. So if you could sell it right now, go ahead, because eventually the price will drop. So really lucky with this Fakin. Of course, I'm not going to sell him, but I bought him about 10 over a million, but now it's already worth 40 over a million. So sometimes those players, some of these really good players will increase in price itself. Okay, so generally that's how it work out. And now I very quickly go to review the skill game itself. This mini skill game, or they call it semi-final skill game, is sometimes a roadblock to you to progress to get the 56 numbers of the UCL points. Always follow the green line that I did, so always attack the top 2 whenever you must see the red dot on the target before you proceed to go ahead. So for this lower ones is when the yellow obstacles go back towards the target, then you manage to time it that way. You'll be able to avoid that hitting that obstacle. As for the top one, you're just going to aim for the points. You can see the 5,000 points right now. That's where you aim for the top one, but not the bottom one. The bottom one just strike across the field and touch the target. That will do. All right, so now finally, Real Madrid match itself. Very quickly, I'll go through with you. This match is not as tough as it used to be. It's no longer. So I'm quite happy with that arrangement that EA has made it slightly easier for us. Otherwise, it's quite tedious to go through this match, especially the fact that it required UCL lineup. So I'm going to fast forward it and just to the moments that we score some goals. Header in next year when you do header, always try to target the player furthest away from you. you towards the goalpost, so that that's how you work. If you target the player that's nearest to you, most of the time you'll miss that header. So always target the player that you have at the furthest end, and hopefully that he score a header in. And roulette is always an important part of the skill moves that I have, because roulette actually allows me to push forward, and always the case because the AI will rig the match at the last moment. So I'm quite glad that we have about extra 2 goals to graduate from this match itself. Alright, so thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. I hope you'll make more coins. Goodbye.